وسلم على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Inshallah, we will continue on the Islamic law or al-fiqh sessions. As usual, we try and cover some masail on the Friday night programs. Inshallah, we'll continue. We are still in the section of salat, and we covered the arkan al-salat, we covered wajibat al-salat, we also covered shakkiyat al-salat, what is the doubts in salat. We will inshallah cover the Salatul Jam'a and Jum'a inshallah. Salatul Jam'a, obviously it is in terms of the rewards, it has abundance of rewards that is way beyond what we can even imagine. The minimum is if two people are praying Jama'ah together, only two people, one is leading and one is following. Is it possible to do that? Yes, it is. And if there are only two people, the method in which they stand is the Imam stands forward and the Ma'mum stands on his right hand side a little bit behind him, in a way that when he goes to sujood, the Ma'mum's sujood is near the knees of the Imam. So he's not completely behind, he is next to but slightly behind, in a way when the Ma'mum does his sujood, his masjad, or where he prostrates, is next to the knees of the Imam. If only two people are praying Jama'ah, the rewards of that is 100, every rak'ah of it equates to 150 prayer when they are not doing Jama'ah. Every rak'ah of it equates to a full prayer, 150 of them if they were to do it separately. So imagine, you stand and pray 2 rak'ah, let's say, with somebody in Jama'ah, even husband and wife. They pray in Jama'ah, Fajr let's say, 2 rak'ah, it's like they just completed 300 prayers. 300 full prayers, 600 rak'ah. Just 2 of them, 2 rak'ah. This is the multiplication of the minimum, that's the reward. And then once they become 2 people, 3 people, so Imam and 2 Ma'mumin, then the reward multiplies in an exponential manner. To the point that when they become 10 people, more than 10 people, according to the hadith, not even the angels can count their rewards. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows the reward that they deserve. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the opportunity to do the Jama'ah. As we said, Jama'ah, the condition number 1 is 2 people. So one cannot do Jama'ah on his own, obviously. So there has to be 2 people. It doesn't need to be 5, 10, 15, 40, none of that. 2 people, they can do Jama'ah. The difference between Jama'ah and Jum'ah is that Jum'ah is the special Jama'ah that is done on Fridays at noon, which includes the sermons. So instead of the 4 rak'ah dhuhr, there's 2 rak'ah of Jum'ah and 2 sermons prior to those 2 rak'ah. And that is another, basically it has another type of Jama'ah that has its own conditions. One of them is that there has to be a minimum of 5 people for Jum'ah. But for Jama'ah, 2 people can perform Jama'ah, no problem. We said if there are 2 people, then the Ma'mum stands slightly behind. If there are more than 2 people, like the Imam and 2 Ma'mumin or 3 Ma'mumin or more, then they stand behind him. in a way, in a manner wherever they're doing their sujood is not further than one long step, about a meter or just over a meter, a long step, which is, it could be 3 or 4 feet. Within 3 or 4 feet from where the imam is standing, they have to do their sujood. That's where the maximum distance. The minimum is just right behind him, basically, in a way that's possible for them to do sujood behind him. That is, in terms of the place of standing and the distance, there has to be a connection between the imam and the ma'moom. The connection is means that there's nothing, no barrier between them, except other ma'moomin. So other people who are praying jama'ah, if they are next to, between him and the imam, then that's not a barrier. But if there is another obstacle, then that is a barrier, and that would disconnect, and the distance should not be so much. Between the ma'moomin, it should not be more than, again, a long step. But what if there is, between the ma'moomin, there is no other person, but there is a structure, you know, a physical, let's say this podium is between one and another ma'moom. That is an obstacle. Though it's only small, but it's a physical structure, like a post in buildings that used to have posts, in masajid that used to have, you know, the posts inside the buildings, the big, you know, the pillars. If there is a pillar, there is an obstacle between one and another ma'moom, that is an obstacle. How do they connect? They connect from the line in front of them. Not behind them. They connect from the line that is in front of them, and so your connection has to be either from someone in front of you or someone next to you. The other rule regarding the jama'ah is that if it's women, they can have some sort of a curtain or a barrier that is not disconnecting, as long as they can hear the voice of the imam, and they can visually, at least the front line of them, or some of them, they can somehow visually follow the imam. Then they can connect. So this is regarding, if there's a curtain, as long as they can hear, there's no issues. They can hear the voice of the imam, it's fine. If it's a door or something, if it's a glass, if they're behind the glass door or something that they can see and they can still hear, it's fine. So that is between men and women, but between men themselves, that curtain is a problem, and also any structure or doors is a problem. Or between women and women themselves, amongst them, the same thing applies. So this is in terms of the connection. One of the rules of jama'ah is that the ma'moom, by the way, means the one who is praying behind the imam. The imam is the leader of the jama'ah, and the ma'moom is the follower, the one who's praying behind the imam. The ma'moom in the jama'ah has to follow the imam from the takbirah all the way throughout the salat, not be ahead of the imam. So if the ma'moom does his takbirah before the imam, does it count as jama'ah? Does not count as jama'ah. If the ma'moom goes to ruku' before the imam, he disconnected his jama'ah. What if I go and I realize the imam's still standing? I come back immediately. Does it void my salat because I've done an extra ruku'? This is an exception, very important. An exception. If you are praying on your own and you go to ruku' and stand up and then go to ruku' again, you've done an extra ruku', and that voids salat, because that's rukn. Ruku' is a rukn. But if one is praying as a ma'moom in jama'ah, in congregation, If they do go to ruku' and realize the imam has not gone to ruku' yet, they come back up, and it does not invalidate their salat. It doesn't count against them as an extra ruku' or even sujood. Let's say they went to sujood and thought the imam came up already, and they realize, no, the imam is still in sujood. So they go back. It doesn't count as an extra sajda again, because if you're praying on your own and you do 3 sajda, what happens? It's 3 sajda, it voids the salat because it's an extra rukn. But if one is praying in jama'ah and goes to sajda and then realizes and gets up, realizes the imam is still down, goes back down, then gets up with the imam, goes back down with the imam, that's already 3. But because they are praying jama'ah, that does not count against them because they're following the imam. So it's very important that the ma'moom is following and not going ahead. If one decides to go ahead of the imam, proceed, therefore they are disconnecting discontinuing their congregation, their jama'ah. Does the ma'moom have to say things after the imam? Action, we said they have to make sure they are following, not ahead of. What about saying things? We said takbirah is a condition, because if you start the takbirah before the imam, you are not praying jama'ah. So we have to say the takbirah after the imam. Do I need to? Now, obviously, in first and second rak'ah, ma'moom does not recite. The imam recites and the ma'moom listens. Unless the ma'moom does not hear at all, cannot hear Dhuhr and Asr, for example, then he has the option of either doing some sort of dhikr, tasbih, or reciting, but quietly or within themselves in a way that nobody can hear it. It's not heard by anyone. Within themselves, no one hears it if they cannot hear the imam. If they can hear, then they listen first and second rak'ah. Third rak'ah, it's tasbihat. Do I need to say my tasbihat after the imam or wait? I don't know. We don't need to know. It's okay. In ruku' or sujood, saying the dhikr of ruku' or sujood, Subhana Rabbiyal Azimi wa bihamdih, or Subhana Rabbiyal A'la wa bihamdih. When we are saying this, do I need to wait for the imam to say it before I say it? It doesn't matter. That part doesn't matter. If the imam doesn't say dhikr and I want to say it, it's okay. Let's say the imam only says Subhanallah, 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 and I want to say Subhana Rabbiyal Azimi wa bihamdih. It's okay. There's no problem. Not in a way that I make everybody hear, leave it, keep it down, keep it quiet. However, it is important that I don't finish my salat before the imam. If I want to be considered one who started and finished in jama'ah, I don't do my tashahhud, finish my tashahhud before the imam finishes, and I don't start my taslim before the imam starts their taslim. That is important to keep in mind. So dhikr has to be after takbirah, and also finishing the salat, tashahhud and taslim, wait for the imam and then you finish. Otherwise, the rest of it, it's not a problem, but the action has to be after, not before. So I don't do ruku' until the imam goes to ruku'. I don't do sujood until the imam goes to sujood. I believe this is time for salat, inshallah. Yes.
On the ladies' side, you have a problem. Sometimes the mother is praying, she's in the line, but the child's crying, so she has to go and attend to the child, so she leaves the line now as a hole. What do we do? Try to scoot over and try to fill up the hole? Or do we stand?
Yeah, so if it's less than a meter, it's fine.
It's one person, one body.
It should be fine. If they didn't if they didn't keep a big space between them and they were closer to each other, if one person moves completely, then it's fine. They don't need to move away.
Second question is, sometimes the mother is praying and the child is sleeping next to him. That's not a connection, you know?
An obstacle? No, if the child is not forming an obstacle and it's not between them, it's fine.
No, the lady's here, the child's sleeping here, and another lady is here. Is that okay?
In the first line, it's better not to have, because some consider that as an obstacle, that there's something or someone between them. Although a child is not necessarily, someone between them, but our scholars, some of them have precaution on this. So in the first line of Jama'ah, we try not to have children, unless the child is in front of not in the same line, then it's okay. But in the first line, it's better not to. So mothers who have younger children, better to be in the second line onwards, because the connection is from the front, not from the side. Yeah. Thank you. Inshallah, we'll continue next session. We'll continue the rest of the masail. We'll have the prayers now, inshallah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala tayyibin at-tahirin. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Yeah.